First things first, we're gonna go ahead and take off the vent assembly here, and then we're gonna be moving on and taking the bezel off, and then the ashtray piece, if I can get it to open. And I'm gonna show you where all the screws are. So, oh, that one's not closing all the way. So once this thing comes off, we're gonna go ahead and take this part off, and I'll show you what or where the screws are. To get this out, it's kind of tricky. As you can see, the clips are going straight up and down, and then you got one that's slanted. So what you have to do is pretty much release that locking clip right here that's inside. So kind of pull it this way, and then start using a panel remover to gently pry this off. And the ones in the front needs to go towards the rear to release. So once you get that out, as you can see, it'll expose 3 screws, but we're not going to take off anything yet. We need to take this bezel trim off, and then the ashtray. So this bezel just pops off, nothing but 4 clips. You do need to take off the ashtray piece itself to expose that screw behind there. So you're going to have 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and take that off. There's actually 4 screws here. There'll be one here, one here, one here, one here. Once you get that off, just pop it off and make sure you unplug the cigarette lighter connection. And then there's gonna be 2 screws right here, and then this piece should pop off. Once you get that assembly out, there's gonna obviously take off the 3 screws up top. There's also going to be these screws right here that needs to come out as well. Once you get all those screws out, this thing just pops off. Now for this one, you won't be able to pull it out too far out. It'll be prevented. So you can go ahead and release that, or just unplug everything. But regardless, you still need to release that. So just pinch those 2 ears off, and then this whole thing would pop off. And then unplug the rest, and the radio comes out. Got the radio out. There should be only the main plug for the radio, the antenna, and I believe this is for the climate control. No, yeah, this is for the climate control. We're gonna go ahead and unbox the Extron's, I believe, the 10-inch screen, and also the CT Sounds 4-gauge amp kit, as we need the RCA and remote wire to run it along with the radio, since we are doing an amp and sub and 4 speakers as well. So I'm not gonna bore you to death. Pretty much, obviously the unboxing is self-explanatory. The radio is going to be in it, so I'll just go ahead and take everything out and prep the installation and pretty much test everything out. Just kind of have everything testing. Here's the GPS antenna zip tied to the harness, the 4G. The only thing that I did have to plug is this main big one, as I will need the subwoofer output. You're going to have one plug down here, and then plugs into the box. They all kind of just plug in one way, so you can't really mix them up. Obviously the main black plug, and the GPS, antenna, etc., and the green to green. It does come with 2 different versions. I believe the other one's for GPS, which has 2 green plugs, but this one only needed 1. So we're gonna try that out and see if that works out. Alright, it currently looks like a mess. For some reason I couldn't find the specific amp output that they stated. They had the blue and white, but it doesn't want to come on. So what I just did was I hooked up the remote wire to the accessory. I went ahead and zip tied the harnesses to basically the stock harness. I did run the USB and the SIM card to the glove box. I do need to get a subwoofer conversion for the RCA, which is 1 male to 2 female, or else I won't be able to plug the USB in. But overall, so far everything seems to be working, so we're going to continue on. I have the RCA and remote wire going to the opening. Just put a little bit of tape in there just to protect it away from any metal or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and put the radio back in, and then go to the store and get the RCA converter. Everything else is pretty much plugged in and ready to go back in. So we're gonna go ahead and mount that back, test the radio again, and make sure the AC and stuff like that are working. Once you get everything going, you do need to go to the settings. Show you real quick. Need to go to car infotainment. And you're going to go down to the SWC. Now you have to set your steering wheel, basically press what you want, say like the volume up, press that, and then once you start seeing it blinking, you press the volume up on the steering wheel control, vice versa. And then you want to go to about device, you want to click this icon right here, put in 888, you're going to go to CAN, and you can change the temperature unit to Fahrenheit. Not really sure what all this other stuff are, but not really gonna mess with that. Now click on the CAN type. You want to put in 75. You notice that you got 75.7 accord right here. Click on that. This one doesn't have a dual climate control, so we're gonna go ahead and switch it to save. Just do a single, and then that should be it. We're gonna temporarily put the radio on hold since I need to go get the RCA. But we're gonna move on to the rear speaker. The only thing that's really held on is by these clips. So what you just have to do is get a pliers and then pinch the ears of all these three, and then the whole thing will just pop off. Now you can just get it from underneath. As you can see right here, here's all the clips that you have to undo. Once you get both of the grills off, it'll expose the speakers right here. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the bolts, test fit the new one, and it did come with the quick release wiring harnesses, so it should be pretty easy to swap everything out without having to cut and splice things. The speakers are pretty much held by 4 8mm bolts, but once you get that out, self-explanatory. So this thing has been here since 2007. It was definitely time to upgrade. Here's the quick release harness. So like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. It only goes one way. Just make sure it does lock in and click in there. Then we'll test fit the speaker and hopefully the screws line up. New speakers are in. I had a little trouble putting the cover back on. The little lip that was in here was hitting the speaker, so I did have to cut that off. So it was about this big, so it was hitting the speaker, preventing it from pretty much going back in. So just use a Dremel, cut it out, and then test everything back. Did a little bit more trimming, and the grill perfectly goes back in without any gaps or any imperfections as far as the fitment goes. So yeah, definitely need to trim that lip a little bit out of the grill itself. Once you get everything plugged in, just go ahead and zip tie the connectors just to kind of make it a little bit more secured. Other than that, the rear ones are pretty much done, and we'll move on to the fronts. So this thing just pretty much pops off. This one's already broken. It had like little arms that lock on to this opening, and then there's just a clip. Obviously this one's broke, so I guess it was time to replace them anyway. But we're gonna go ahead and put the new adapter in, screw the speaker, and then get this one taken care of. We got the proper adapter kit, so we're gonna go ahead and mount the speaker in here, drill 4 new holes for the screws, and then install the adapter, which is pretty much the same as the one for the rear. So go ahead and do that, and then we still need to do the passenger side, and then we'll be done with the front speakers. Got one side done, so we're gonna go ahead and put the door panels back on and then finish up the passenger side. Passenger side done, so we can go ahead and put this one back together like the driver. I got the power wire temporarily kind of ran. There will be a grommet right there. That's where you're gonna run the wire. You don't have to drill a hole or anything like that. It's just a rubber grommet. So just kind of leave a little bit of excess length just in case. So I'll go ahead and show you where that thing is coming out. Gonna be coming out right there, and go ahead and zip tie it along the harness. And we're gonna go ahead and take off this door sill right here, run all the power wire along with the remote base knob line deal. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're running the wires all the way to the back. Just kind of put a little bit of separation between the power wire and the RCAs. So we're gonna do this all the way to the back. That way, just to kind of minimize the engine noise type of sounds or interference and things like that from the power wire. You never want to really do them together or tie them together. Here's the piece that I was waiting for. It converts the stock plug, which is 1 out, to a 2 out. So now I can actually put the radio back together, but I will zip tie these together. That way it's not bouncing around like that. I pretty much got everything put back together. Everything is where it should be. This one didn't close before, so the customer knew that. I'm gonna leave this last to put on. This one's kind of a pain, so I want to make sure everything works before putting this back on, because I don't want to take this back off again. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the sub wiring. I need to go up front and finish up that power wire and then hook up these subs. I haven't done the power wire in the front, the engine bay side. Just wanted to show you where I grounded it. Just sand off a spot right here. Make sure it's bare metal. And I ran the wire kind of under the carpet coming out from this little slit. As you can see, that's how it's gonna sit here. I do need to put some screws just to keep it from moving. RCA's are already mounted. So that's pretty much ready to go. I do still need to put the fuse in the front, do the front speaker, since there was a issue with the Crutchfield order from the customer. They sent them a Toyota adapter kit for the speaker in the front. So he went ahead and went to the store and got one. So we're gonna go ahead and finish that up. I've got these up pretty much sitting there already wired up. I still need to hook up the power wire to the battery. And that should be the only thing we got left. Here's the power wire. I already got everything loomed, zip tied. I don't like drilling holes to any metal. I just don't like it to rust in there. Plus, if the customer wants to take everything off, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Got everything to the battery already. Zip tied to the side. Everything is away from anything that will get hot. So let's go ahead and adjust the amp and test everything out. So I pretty much got the amp adjusted. All the gains and all that stuff are already taken care of. I did put a small screw just to keep it from moving back and forth. It's going to be hidden. The customer's not even going to see the amp itself, and it'll also cool whenever it's hot outside. So that's pretty much everything, and tomorrow we're going to be testing everything out.